What's up, people? I am back for another video. Sorry I didn't do this video yesterday, but I got two videos planned today. I was gonna announce this yesterday, but we're gonna finally review the Mummy movies, and I'm gonna start that later. So that'll be my second review, because I'm gonna be reviewing. Because this is kind of a random review. We're gonna be reviewing Deep Blue Sea since I just watched it. It was 2 nights ago. And rewatching it, Deep Blue Sea is really good. I think it's not great. It has a little bit of the '90s cheese in there, but you have a decent cast. You got Michael Rappaport, Sam Jackson, uh, Thomas Jane. I'm trying to remember the girl's name. Uh, it was directed by Rennie Harlin, who's done like I think Rennie Harlin did a lot of those '90s movies. He did like Die Hard 2. He's done a few. Hold on, let me click on his name because I'm on Wikipedia right now. Yeah, he did Nightmare 4, Die Hard 2, Long Kiss Kid. Wow. Okay, so I reviewed another Rennie Harlan movie. Actually, two. So I reviewed Nightmare 4. So yeah, he's done a few. So he's done a few good movies. I'll give him. This film is about an underwater facility that sees scientists train mako sharks who are genetically altered, but then they break out, obviously, and then shit goes crazy. This film came out in 1999. Along 1999 was a great year in film, like probably one of the greatest years in film. Phantom Menace, The Matrix, um, like those are the top two. But you had I would throw this movie in. You had Lake Placid, um, The Mummy, which I'm gonna review later. So yeah, you had a bunch of movies in '99. But this movie is really fun. Like overall, probably the only other good shark movie. Really, I would say. Like it's obviously not Jaws, but I think it's a decent movie. So let me pack a bowl. Then let's get started. Cheers. So we start off in an underwater facility that is ran by Susan McAllister, who's one of the main characters in this movie. She's decent. Like I don't remember if I've seen her in any other movies, but I thought she was a decent character. And Jim Whitlock. They're doing shit. Sorry. Anyway, they're doing research on mako sharks to try to see if they can do the reactivation of the dominant human brain. And then one of the sharks escapes. Um, they send in one of the corporate people send in Russell Franklin, which is uh, Samuel Jackson's character. Like that's one of the strong points this film has is the characters are good. Even LL Cool J's character, who most of the time he's by himself because he's like one of the chefs, and I actually thought he was a funny character. Surprisingly, he didn't die in the end, but so they show their research to him, and then unfortunately, one of the sharks breaks out and starts killing people. And a lot of good kills. That's another thing. Film has really good kills. The effects are I'll admit that's like one of the weaker points is when they're swimming. You could tell it's CGI, and it's like you could tell it's super computer generated, but it's still like it's fun. Like, if you can get over like some of the effects, it's a fun film. It's just a fun. It's like an hour and a half. This film is. It's not long. 100, so not even an hour and a half. So a little bit under that. So pretty much people have to try to survive um, and then try to escape. Then Thomas Frank, or yeah, Russell Franklin, which is Samuel L. Jackson's character, he gives a monologue, like, and it's one of my favorite scenes in the movie because he's like, "We're not gonna." It's like this epic speech. We're not gonna take this anymore. And he just gets grabbed by the shark. It looked really bad, I'll admit, like CGI wise, but man, was it funny. Just because it's like this important speech that was trying to like hype people up, and then he just gets yanked in the water. It's just like, it's pretty funny. It's probably one of my favorite kills in the movie. Might be my favorite kill in the movie. Just because, just, like, it's so funny. Sam Jackson's character was great. And then, boom, just... And I think it was a bait and switch, because, remember, this was 1999. Same year he was doing Phantom Menace. So, he was already, like, kind of a big name, because this Pulp Fiction is what really made him a star. So, people thought he was going to live a lot longer. And this is only, like, the middle of the movie, still. This isn't even, like, the end. So, he dies fairly early on. It's almost, I don't know if it's the exact same, but it's like the Casey situation in Scream with Drew Barrymore. Because Samuel Jackson at the time, because this is, Thomas Jane hadn't done Punisher yet. This was still 4 years out. Yeah, because it's 1999. So yeah, 5 years actually. 5 years out till 2004 when that's when the first Punisher came out. So he wasn't really a big name. So Samuel Jackson, I would argue, is like the biggest name in this movie, in terms of like at the time, you know. Because I think LL Cool J still mainly did music, and I mean he had done Halloween H2O a year before, but same. Honestly, I would have just thinking about it. His role in this is a bit similar to the H2O role, where in that he was just a side character who did end up getting killed, but he had his own little storyline going on. Where yeah, he was like. I don't remember the exact story, but he was like, he was a chef kind of by himself. He does end up meeting up with the group later on, but it like for a bit. So it is very similar, and that's fine. I think LL Cool J does that role perfect. That's probably why they casted him, for all we know. So, but yeah, so Samuel L. Jackson gets killed. Then the group basically have to try to get out, and Janice dies. Then back in the kitchen, this is where Sherman. So his name is Sherman. His parrot. He has a pet parrot who he has some funny scenes with. Like I think the humor's done well, and I think even at this time, they didn't like the humor was before like once like the sharks came in and shit got real, and I think and he was like one of the only characters that was kind of the more comedic. You didn't have everybody just be a comedic character like I talked about last week. So I think he tries to get out, and then this is where he meets up with the other crew. So Tom dies, and I think Susan ends up killing one of the sharks. They regroup, try to get to the surface. This preacher, which is LL Cool J's character, almost dies. But he ends up not, because I think he escapes. And then obviously they kill the shark with, I'm just going to kind of jump. They end up killing the shark with a harpoon, with like an electrical explosive charge. And yeah, that's kind of how the film ends. It's a very good film. It's not great. It's one of those just kind of, you can say if you want to say turn your brain off. I don't think it's that necessarily. I think it's a decent film. The score's whatever. It's very basic, not a lot to it, but the characters were decent. I thought Susan, which was played by Saffron Burrows, I'm gonna look and see if she was in anything else, because I only know her in this movie. This is the only movie I know her in. Yeah, she was not in a lot of other stuff. She was in Troy, so that's the other thing I think I've seen her in that I can remember now. So yeah, but she was decent in this movie. So, but according to feminists, you didn't have good female characters in the '90s. But yeah, and Thomas Jane's character, Jim, was pretty good. He was a good leading guy. You know, this was a younger Thomas Jane. This is pre Punisher, so he wasn't Punisher yet. Samuel L. Jackson's character was awesome as like the corporate sent guy to check on them, but then his death obviously is the highlight of this movie. I like the shark design. They're giant makos, so they almost look like great whites. I the kills are pretty good. Like there's a lot of blood. They don't hesitate in showing you blood. And one of the my favorite things is the poster, where the girl's by herself and the shark's behind her. It's a nice. It's one of those killer animal movies that's not like that's actually a theatrical release that doesn't feel like oh you're watching a sci-fi, the Sci-Fi Channel movie. Out of 10, I would give Deep Blue Sea an 8. Honestly, it's a fun movie. It's a fun ride. Good characters, not strong characters like Jaws, but good characters. I would say watch it. It's a fun ride. It's only 105 minutes. So that's still only. Okay, so that's a little bit over an hour and a half. So it's not that much long. It's not that long. So it's only a little. So assuming it would be like an hour and 40 something. Samuel, it just even just to see Samuel Jackson's death is funny. Just because the way it's executed, the CGI isn't the greatest. It definitely looks like a computer game at times in the water, especially compared to like the real life things. It looks pretty bad at times, but if you can get over that, this is a fun movie. It's like Anaconda, which that will be another random review. That might be next week. I might do is Anaconda. Anacondas. It's just a fun. I might also do Lake Placid. I might just do killer animal movies. I might just find like good ones anyway and review. But yeah, later I will be reviewing The Mummy, one of my favorite movies and childhood movies. Like I grew up with this movie, like almost like with Jurassic Park because they were both Universal. So, but Deep Blue Sea's good. I would say watch it. If you want just a fun killer shark movie from the 90s, and if you want a funny role from Sam Jackson. So, but other than that, as usual, fuck Warner Brothers, fuck Disney, fuck bitch ass James Mangold, and fuck OneRing.net, and fuck LeBron and his shitty Space Jam 2. Cheers. Talk to you guys later. Peace.